mean, we are transitioning from just the I would say luxury focused OEM to software defined digital experience. I think we need to realize that this is really critical for us. We improved the key fob battery drainage by 10x, 10
Really?
factors. Seriously, I was bothered. I mean, right now I can fully recommend the Gravity to a friend of mine, and it just sounds crazy that I'm saying that as a SVP, here at Lucid, but it's super reliable and super fun, and knowing how good it is, and you attest to that with the fixes, with the improvements we've made. Now it's honestly a complete package, and we only gonna make it better.
Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits episode. In this episode, we are addressing the Lucid Gravity software bugs and problems, but also fixes and future software plans at Lucid. If you're not familiar, the Lucid Gravity is Lucid's 3-row electric SUV, and at least on paper and on pavement, it is unlike anything else. It's incredibly spacious, it drives better than almost any vehicle out there, and it's just crazy, the capability of this car. The problem has always been the software bugs. Now, I recently drove this on an entire road trip up and down the entire East Coast and the Eastern Edge, and we highlighted a lot of bugs and errors and little things that would pop up that I thought really ruined the experience for how good the hardware package of the car was. And it wasn't just me. Owners of Lucid Gravity as well were saying, hey, really cool car. I'm so glad I bought it, but this bug, this thing, that thing. And it was just, not the most robust experience. So just this weekend, Lucid rolled out the first major fix for the Gravity, and it's called version 3.4. And this software release comes after a major company shakeup in the entire organizational structure, especially when it comes to the software team. Now, my friend Emad is now responsible. Let me get his new title because he has a huge job. He's Senior Vice President of Engineering and Digital for the entire brand. And Emad was responsible for all of Powertrain before. We've done videos together. He's a great resource, not just for our viewer base and for me, but the entire EV community. One of the smartest people I know and one of the most hardcore engineers that I know. Now, what's cool about Emad is he's a people person in the sense where he can cut through the BS and just make stuff happen in kind of a nice way. And you need someone like that to just kind of fix the bugs at Lucid and get everyone on the same, wavelength. He was responsible for Powertrain, which is always the highlight of the entire brand. So I'm super excited that he took over this role inside of Lucid. And now we're starting to see kind of the fruits of his labor. And we're going to chat with him in this episode for about 30 minutes about the real raw what's going on inside of Lucid. So I really can't thank him enough for taking the time out of his day to join us on this show to discuss, the honest what was going on inside of Lucid, how they fixed their problems, and what's to come. He reveals a lot about the thoughts around Air and midsize and software calibrations and feature releases for all of those vehicles. But the genesis of this podcast is to discuss the version 3.4.0 software update, which fixes so much for Gravity. So before we get into the podcast, I just want to tell you, if you're on the fence on buying a Gravity, or if you own a Gravity, this will make a major difference to both of those scenarios. The first is, in terms of features and things that they've changed, is they've completely fixed access control. Now, I've confirmed this with a few of my friends that own Gravity. Key fob is no longer a problem. It uses 10 times less energy. Emad will tell us that here in the show coming up. And the key battery lasts a while. The response is much better. And the risk of being locked out is near zero. So that's awesome. So more reliable key fob detection, including improved key card usability. There's features that have come out as well, such as see-through vehicle display. I just experienced this week. I'll have a video coming on that. It was pretty cool. I used it for actually a useful feature where you can see underneath the car, which many vehicles offer, especially off-road type vehicles, but it was cool to see it here. There's big sound system improvements as well in terms of upmixing and allowing this sort of Surreal Sound Pro, they call it, listening experience. So it's immersion control. There's improvements for the second row easy entry button in terms of the seat. So you can like press it double times to fold the seats forward, and a bunch of other things that are really cool. Big improvements when it comes to automated driving assistance. So improved blind spot image quality. The buttons on the steering wheel that we complained about a bunch apparently are completely fixed now. That's a major improvement. And then there's a bunch of HVAC related things, lighting related things, infotainment related stability that really make a massive difference to the overall improvements of the car. And then there's navigation, Bluetooth and connectivity. The window controls that were driving me nuts are fixed. The list goes on and on. The built-in dash cam's better. The mobile app is better, and charging both on AC and DC have had even more bugs squashed. So it's just like a major software fix for the car. It's not necessarily a major feature release, but from my impression is this is going to allow the cars to have a really nice stable base, assuming based off the feedback that I'm hearing out in the field from friends of mine who own these. It sounds like it's going to make a really nice software base to then release new features on top of. So that's the context as to why I wanted to have this chat with Emad. Can't wait to share it with you. I'm going to leave a link below to the Lucid Owners Forum where you can read all about this software release 3.0 and what users are thinking. But for now, let's jump into the full conversation with Emad Dlala from Lucid. Emad, welcome back to the channel.
Well, thank you, Kyle. Good to see you again, always.
Yeah, that's always fun. And, you and I have chatted a couple times during our testing of Gravity over the last few months now. And I think you guys have really hit the major milestone, at least that's what it sounds like, of getting most of the bugs squashed. So the new software update, it's called 3.4. Maybe you can tell us the high level on what's going along with this release. And then afterwards, I want to back up a little bit and just hear what's going on with Lucid regards to software. I know you've had a big job change. We'll get to that, but let's just tell Gravity owners what's coming in this release or what's already rolled out.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Basically, this release has basically been introduced really to remove all robustness issues that have been witnessed and seen in some of the Gravity customer vehicles. There are many known issues to us that have been in the works for a while, but there are also many others that have been basically seen and observed by media, customers, and we opened channels recently for direct customer feedback where we basically really use that as a basis of prioritization of the customer to address the main customer pain points. And this release basically addresses the biggest issues with Gravity, which is the access control reliability. And so many other actually improvements and robustness and enhancement. We actually added a few features too. Two of them I think are really super cool. One of them is this transparent view that you can go off-roading and you see what's underneath, or you're going to a tight parking spot with some side pavement and so on that you could now see closely. Or of course, a child or a person who is you can't usually see because of the camera obstruction. Then we also added some immersive sound feature that also really adds lots of tuning for your preferred sound experience. And from improvement point of view, on top of access control, we really address so many other like random error messages. Some of them a pop-up for, let's say, system fault, like an underlying system problem. Some of them really inaccurate in basically a system response to non-issues. I would say right now 90% of those, or even close to 95% of those issues have been addressed. We're gonna release another update in about 6 to 8 weeks to address some other issues that we are going to basically focus on in the short term. But I would say, I can tell you right now, the vehicle is super fun to drive. No, you drive it for weeks and you don't notice anything. So all, the feedback that you shared, Kyle, and a few others in your road trips, you will see almost a different experience right now. And with all the things that the Gravity, all the good things that the Gravity is known for, right now, on top of that, you have a very seamless, smooth software experience, digital experience. And not only from, let's say, as I said, the access side, it's also from your infotainment in general side, control side, ADAS side, so many improvements, nav, connectivity, all these have been improved in the latest 3.4 release.
So I was going through the release notes and I shared with the viewers in the intro of this video, sort of point by point as well. One of the things I'm most excited to try out, surprisingly, is actually the button response on the steering wheel. So what happened there?
It's non-issue anymore.
Really?
And guess it's non-issue at all. I've seen it because I drive Gravity. It's not just my experience. So we released. We also changed a few things this time. We released the software to our internal fleet. Lucid basically Gravity owners, their customers. But so far, not a single complaint about this. And guess what, Kyle? We've been unfortunately changing some of the customer steering wheels in the field due to this issue, which is drastically, basically, not just improved, I would say completely the issue removed by software.
That's amazing to hear. So you no longer have to replace steering wheels now. It's just software dialed in. You're good to go, right?
No longer. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. I can't wait to try that out. And there's other improvements I'm looking forward to trying as well, just like HVAC logic. And then there was some charging logic in there as well. I think we can all agree Gravity charges like a monster. It's absolutely crazy. And so it sounds like maybe even better in hot weather. We had some warnings and issues on our car, but that was really car specific to a charge port error. It sounds like that was not so representative of the fleet. This should just make Gravity charge even better.
Yeah. Kyle, as I admitted earlier, we have received many complaints about certain things. For that charge port, it was only your vehicle that had it ever. but we are improving. Well, even from that point of view, we are improving some system responses. For example, how we use redundancy of the sensors, how to understand the severity of the problem. Derating, etc. Many things we've improved, and that's why I told you, like earlier, that the many random errors have been addressed, in the new software, and we will keep improving.
Yeah, I love to hear all of that. And from my perspective, this is one software update I think that could potentially bring the car to where it needed to be all this time. It's now going to give everyone a stable experience, which is great. Can you talk to us just a little bit, maybe some insight for viewers that follow Lucid closely or some owners as to what's going on culturally inside the company regarding software? Clearly, we've seen the communications from Lucid mention software a lot more than you ever have. The vehicles are improving much quicker than you ever have. You've had Jason's video with a fantastic response as well. That I thought Lucid worked really well with him on. You've had our Gravity experience and now, updates coming after as well as customers. What's the culture of software inside of Lucid?
Yeah, thanks, Kyle, for the question. From the beginning, honestly, we did have a very strong foundation for software. The vehicles are so, Lucid actually introduced Ethernet gateways first in the market, at least my understanding. So we did have these nodes of basically Ethernet connections before anyone else. The Air had it. And we had a very strong, as I said, compute systems and ECUs that are seamlessly integrated in the vehicle for over-the-air updates and software-defined experience. And we were successful to a large extent, of course, to address many issues quickly. But what I think lack it is, honestly, Kyle, is the integration. Because you can build the best systems or subsystems, but if they are not interlinked together, if there are no proper system engineering strategy behind it, and what we did culturally recently, we removed many of those silos. And there is basically one decision point goes through me and the team, which alleviated lots of like the silos before culturally working with the CEO and the CTO in many of these decisions. And, connected, unified, no longer is we're developing hardware in isolation or software in isolation. This is one single ecosystem that we are treating it as. And therefore, I think that by itself, led to a huge, removal of issues and isolated problems. But of course, with this single leadership also, we really focus in a sense of urgency, accountability, ownership, to the next level. And we've been driving issues, almost 24/7, Kyle, for the past 8 weeks. Really, this results wasn't coincidental. It's the team's response that we know the company required. And we are here in a much better position in Gravity, but this is almost the start. So you expect what we achieved in 2 months right now, just extrapolate that to the future, and soon we will be focusing on rolling much more cooler features with this resolutions related to foundation and robustness of the software. We can do a lot.
From the perspective of outside looking in, it's crazy to me how quickly a lot of these problems are solved. Like, for example, software 3.4 isn't just fixing HVAC. It isn't just fixing ADAS. It's like, oh, okay, we're going to just try and fix, like you mentioned, 95% of the stuff, maybe one more release coming in the next few weeks to really dial it in. Then future can build on a really nice, robust base level software. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about Air and Gravity developed together, because my understanding is they're fairly different systems from a software architecture standpoint. You can tell me if that's true or not. And then maybe you can also share some of the focus on the team to either keep the cars on the same track, or clearly Gravity's got some better stuff in there. What's going to be the difference between those two moving forwards?
Yeah. We use different hardware and to a large extent software architectures. There's few things are in common. Powertrain controls quite a bit in common, which is actually also software, right? Usually we kind of think about software, Lucid is somewhat, I would say, not well appreciated from that point of view, from the software control side. So that's uncommon, and your experience, and we've seen your tweets or posts about the controls and snow and traction controls and region and all these dynamics, all done through our in-house software defined actually platform and tuning. But then Air deviated in the infotainment side, or Gravity deviated from the infotainment side to Air. Although it seems that we had much more challenges with Gravity software. Actually, the foundation of Gravity is stronger than Air in some ways. We unified the computing systems in Gravity to one basically ECU. It's a Qualcomm chip that deals both with the safety critical portion and the Android. For Air, we have two computing resources for the Android side and for the QNX, which is basically the safety critical ECUs. But that, of course, led to more, I would say, challenges in its own for Air. But Gravity also, because of this unification, you can think of it now, you need actually more unity and less silos, because multiple teams work on one single chip. once it gets right, gravity has actually amazing foundation, both from compute side and from the other angle is related to the architectural side that we chose for gravity. We use both for air and gravity. We use a QNX based system for the safety critical and Android. But the difference in gravity is that right now they are implemented in one chip, where we had to use hypervisors to allow for the isolation of the systems, which is somewhat a new technology. It comes with rewards and challenges. And I think that's part of the challenges that we faced. And although software can be super challenging, but when you approach it right, when you have the right foundation, you have the right skill set working together, this actually is not that difficult.
You know, I love to hear a lot of that. And I think it's so encouraging to know that, you know, just sort of like, okay, we're at the tail end of the bugs and the problems with gravity. I think also, to be fair to the gravity and the air, none of the problems that we experienced, or really that anyone out in the field experienced, limited drivability of the car. I mean, the car always got you from A to B. Sometimes you couldn't start it without shaking the key or putting the fob down or something. But it sounds like those annoyances, especially the random pop-up notifications, headlight error, all the other stuff that would happen,
they're gone.
That's all gone.
They're all gone.
That's where I think, you know, it's unfortunate that it happened, because it left a little bit of a sting in people's mouths, you know, especially new shoppers saying, oh man, the gravity is so good at driving dynamics, at range, at charging, at packaging, and the list goes on and on. But it was always and I see it on the comments in our videos, it was always, but the software bugs. Sounds like that really needs to be revisited by everyone. And, you know, I'd like to drive the car again. I know we're going to have an opportunity soon, and we'll produce content showing if it did work or didn't. You know how we are.
Yes, I definitely improve it significantly, and I would say right now, people would never get stranded again. In my view, of course, anything can happen. Based on our data, if you get your key fob and the key card with you, we've seen 0 failures when you have these two so far. I know lots of testing. There are, of course, there's few things that sometimes actually preferences. If you, for example, some people, you know, want to keep, if you example, you unlock the vehicles manually, and then you come to the vehicle and you drive it and leave. Do you want to unlock it passively, or, you know, like automatically, or basically manually? Some people have different preference, because maybe I have my child there. So there are certain things in the behavior that we are adjusting. There's some also improvement that also we think they're common sense to do. So, but unlocking the vehicle, driving the vehicle, we've seen 0 issues so far, which is really important. Remember also, I think, as you said, Kyle, the car drivability wasn't impacted even despite the issues before, although we have, key fob that drain batteries so fast. We improved the key fob battery drainage by 10x.
Really?
10 factors. Seriously, in this release.
Okay.
This is probably, I don't think we shared this outside. Probably it's you only knows this. We said there's battery improvement, but we didn't mention it. But our data shows it's up to 10x. It actually could be more, but the average is 10x, like apple to apple comparison, if the same use case.
That's crazy. That's like what were you doing before that was just running that thing full throttle the whole time? That's crazy.
Yes, the key fob was ranging all the time on the car driving, which you don't need it to.
Sure.
We have to, actually, that's the thing about it. And, you know, I have a friend of mine who come to me, Kyle, saying, my Toyota Corolla key fob always works. Never had an issue. But here's the thing. They use RF systems, which is very traditional, very insecure. If you hear about this, relay hacking, all around the world. We use 2 technologies, Bluetooth and ultra wideband UWB technologies, which allows you really to have a secure and seamless secure when it's implemented reliably, which we did eventually. And it gives you really that. Right now, you can come to gravity. Back then, you remember in air also, we have Bluetooth in air. Right now in gravity, you approach it from far. You can unlock it from 20, 30 feet away with the Bluetooth. But if you want to have the passive experience, you don't want to unlock it while you're walking in your downtown next to the car. You want to keep it only that's about 1 meter away. The UBB, which is super precise technology, the UWB, allows you to unlock the vehicle. And now that technology can be linked with a digital key, which we are going to bring up this year.
Good. Well, you've got a year. You've got until December, but come on, we need this phone key like next month.
Well, I know. I'm telling you, we have a working prototype, so I don't want to share with you the exact details, but stay tuned.
Okay, that sounds good. This year's easy when it's February, come on. But
yes,
that's exciting. Emad, I know you can't discuss future product, but I just want to understand where your head is around. You have now Air, you have Gravity, and mid-size is on the horizon. How much effort would you say the team is putting into keeping the existing products relevant for as much time into the future versus, the new stuff?
A really good question. The good news is, to a large extent, the development cycle of, let's say, mid-size starts with the controls. So you need powertrain, chassis, which they are less involved with today, let's say, in the important work we're doing for Gravity and somewhat Air. There are always some work, don't get me wrong. There's always door handles, which is controls or access control, but there are less number of people needed for Air and Gravity from the controls teams, which they are actually focusing in midsize. And then from the infotainment comes a little bit later in that development cycle for midsize. So right now, we want to really show to the world that we're very capable of really delivering amazing software experience. And honestly, even with Gravity today's software, I think it's among the best in my view. If you look at the fundamentals of the software, even in your experience, Kyle, despite these niggles, there's some cool features in Gravity, like to have, let's say, the nav in the top one view, and then the nav in the lower screen. I'm not aware of anyone sharing, which I find is super useful, and probably in Euro tripping too. With the multitasking in Gravity, and these multiple basically options you have, and plus we introduced it, as you know, the route planning is super strong in Gravity in terms of accuracy and capabilities, and also right now the infotainment system, we have Tidal and Sirius XM and a few others that we are bringing from entertainment point of view. I think we are going to be in a few months, in my view, as good as the best over there, and hopefully the better. And I told the team, we're not going to be content until we are the better than the best.
I love to hear that, because I agree with you. Fundamentally, the layout of the UI UX is fine. It's great, actually. Like, the screens are in the right locations. The menus make sense. My understanding is you took away some animations with this new update just to free up some space for processing power. That sounds pretty cool to me. I don't need the gimmicky stuff. I just want it to work. I actually was in a Gravity with this software update. I didn't really realize it, but you have a new startup screen that looks really nice with the bear. I was like, oh, okay, this felt more robust, even without focusing on that. I was just trying to drive it sideways on snow. It felt better. So congratulations on all of the work. Really, it's needed, and I'm glad to hear there's such a focus on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Air customers, stay tuned to, as you said, in Jason's video, engineering explained, we highlighted, or he highlighted in that video, that we're going to bring some really important improvements and upgrades to the Air customers, especially CCV2, which basically the new hardware, infotainment hardware that we start rolling in about mid-24. So most, I would say, if Air customers would benefit of that, but the existing ones, the earlier one, they can upgrade the infotainment compute to the new one and get the benefit of the a feature upgrade, which is basically a Gravity UI. Very similar, let's say, Gravity UR DNA in Air, which you have the multitasking, what I talked about earlier, and some cool features, and also lots of new implementation. The CarPlay implementation will be completely new. That's coming to Gravity quite soon. I'm testing. I just been testing over the weekend the next release for Gravity, because that one is already rolled out. By the way, we rolled out this release just last night to every Gravity customer. Quick patches, like over the weekend. The team has done an amazing job with the huge also improvement in success rate of OTA. Sometimes you never get 100%, but my goal, I told the team to achieve 100% success rate. We are really getting there too. So improvement everywhere. And basically, Air customers will get some of these benefits of the software that we rolled out to Gravity between summer to autumn. I hope even in summer, including the CarPlay new implementation that I mentioned that we are going to roll out to Gravity soon, much more robust. Some people love CarPlay and Android Auto, by the way, both. And they want them to work all the time. And for example, Jason in his video highlighted some of, let's say, inconsistencies there. They will be also drastically improved.
That was actually my last question. So thanks for answering that for me, because, I'm actually a CarPlay hater only because it just bothers me. It can't airdrop stuff. I like to use my whatever. But a lot of our viewers love CarPlay. And I think once that's in there, that's going to be great for many people that are on the fence about the car. And I think more in general, just from my perspective, it's great to know that Lucid has seen the problems. You've seen the customer feedback, and you're adjusting to it in an insanely fast amount of time. I mean, I think back, just like you mentioned, 8 weeks ago, we had a Gravity that was having these problems and now fixed. Great to see the response time. And it's cool to know that in the future, the vehicles will have support for a long time to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we realize this is a software era. I mean, we are transitioning from just the I would say luxury focused OEM to software defined digital experience. I think we need to realize that this is really critical for us. Also, you've probably heard our focus on our shifting in focus, let's say, in autonomy with some partnerships. But we realize that at least we gotta step up our game to take the hardware, the architecture in the vehicle to be meeting the software to be meeting the hardware architecture, and I think we are really getting close to that with this update. But stay tuned. We have lots of exciting things coming up. As I said, CarPlay is I think more or less we have the certifications ready from both Apple and Google, so we can say that we are going to soon roll it. Then we have very few features that are missing, in my view, the digital key. Otherwise, actually, we have some superior things in the Gravity platform today than other competitors. A sound system is awesome. We made some improvement. In my view, it's awesome. Of course, it depends on subjective and objective to different tastes. But we have some other things that I will talk about soon. Kyle, stay tuned.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, you still do dog mode, keep climate, on-route battery preconditioning, plug-in charge, so many things better than almost anyone else. And I think it's very clear in our coverage and from customer feedback how much everyone loves the car. The Gravity as a hardware package is second to none. It's unbelievable how much space you have, the driving dynamics, the list goes on. And it's always been, this is the perfect car, but it's buggy. Now, if we can just remove the but and buggy, it's just going to be awesome. So congratulations.
And Kyle, let me be frank with you. I mean, really, it's these annoyances were real. We're bothering us. I was bothered. I mean, right now I can fully recommend the Gravity to a friend of mine, and it just sounds crazy that I'm saying that as a SVP, here at Lucid. But it's super reliable and super fun, and knowing how good it is, and you attest to that, with the fixes, with the improvements we've made. Now it's honestly a complete package, and we only gonna make it better.
Well, thanks for the time, Emad, and congratulations on all the hard work. Don't let off the gas anytime soon. We can't wait to see even more features come now that you have the robust underlying layer. And thanks again for taking the time to spend with us on this show, because this is really cool to have direct access to you and also all of the knowledge you bring along. So thanks for all the insight.
It's a teamwork. Everyone responded in the company. Really happy to have amazing leadership team, amazing teams within. I'm hands-on with them. We're here together to deliver the best experience to our customers.
Thanks again. I just also want to mention how wild and unique of an opportunity it is to have Emad come on our show so frequently and just be so accessible. That just doesn't happen in the auto industry. Most people are very closed. Most companies don't really like to talk about their problems. And the fact that Emad moved into his new role, the level of transparency that we've seen, and the quickness to fix a lot of the bugs sparks a lot of excitement from my side and a lot of hope for the future of this car. The Gravity could be the hardcore smackdown to any electric SUV out there. It just wasn't because of the software bugs and some build quality stuff. Sounds like we're on the other side of that. So again, it sounds great. I can't wait until owners can confirm all of this. I can't wait until we get another car here to play around with and test and road trip and really run it through its paces. We still haven't tested one. We've got to range test it, charge test it, do all the stuff for the out-of-spec testing channel. That's all going to happen. And I think we're going to have a much better experience now that we're on software 3.4 or whatever's to come once that car arrives. Hopefully it'll get here soon, because I can't wait to get to work with it. But for now, it's snowy in North Carolina, not the best testing weather. So with all of that said, a huge thanks to Emad and Andrew over at Lucid for taking the time to help set this up. Shout out to Nick for being awesome. And yeah, just so great. I've got so many more Lucid videos coming, by the way. I was just in Minnesota with them, with their powertrain and chassis sort of calibration software team. Unbelievably fun and very, very cool information. Can't wait to share that video with you. It'll be a couple weeks till it goes live, but we were out there sliding Lucids around, looking at powertrain control. Dream day. So much fun. Thanks for watching. See you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.